Chapter 11. When Mom and Dad came back, Hugo told them he was going out to the big windows to get some fresh air. But instead, he made his way down to the lower deck. He followed the route they'd taken with Mr. Singer earlier. He was going to sneak into the cargo area and get Panya. The hallways were quiet, but Hugo heard voices whispering from some of the rooms. Twice he had to duck behind corners to avoid being spotted by members of the crew. But luckily, there was no guard posted in front of the door leading out of the passenger area. He managed to slip through without getting caught. The inside of the airship's body was very dark. It took a moment for Hugo's eyes to adjust. Earlier, the light of the sun had shone through the Hindenburg skin, giving the interior a bright glow. But now the air looked inky black. The few bulbs hanging from the girders cast a ghostly light. Hugo swallowed hard and headed down the narrow walkway until the noises of the engines pounded in his ears. He kept walking toward the very back of the zeppelin. He passed a very big sign with the angry-looking words, Verboten. Hugo was pretty sure that meant something like keep out. He was in the cargo area now, surrounded by shelves piled high with trunks and crates. Above him, the gas bags whispered quietly. Then, a familiar sound. Garoo, garoo, garoo. Panya must have smelled Hugo coming, and now Hugo just had to follow the howls. He walked to the very back, and there was a big wicker cage. Hugo popped open the door, and Panya leaped into his arms. The little dog's tail whipped back and forth. Hugo stood there for a moment, nuzzling his dog, happily accepting a shower of slobbering licks. Gertie needs you, Hugo whispered, and you have to stay very quiet. Panya looked at Hugo, his eyes suddenly alert. Let's go, he seemed to say. But before they even made it out of the cargo area, Hugo heard footsteps. Someone is coming. He ducked behind a large wooden crate, tucking Panya into his shirt. Shh, he warned. Peeking up, Hugo could see the shadowy shape of a man heading toward them. Hugo figured it was a member of the crew on a nightly inspection. But as the man got closer, Hugo could see a fuzzy puff of hair and the glint of rounded glasses. It was Mr. Singer. Hugo almost jumped up. Mr. Singer must be looking for Hugo. He wanted to help him find Panya. But wait! Hugo hadn't told nobody about his plan to sneak back here, so how would Mr. Singer have known to come looking? And if he wasn't coming to help Hugo, what was Mr. Singer doing in this forbidden area of the zeppelin? He said himself that not even he was allowed in this real cargo area. The hairs on Hugo's arms prickled as he watched Mr. Singer study the shelves. Finally, Mr. Singer stopped at a large wooden box. He lifted the lid and rummaged inside. Moments later, he pulled out a large envelope. In the low light, Hugo could just make out a huge short key stamped onto the front, in words in big block letters. Swing. Again, without even knowing German, I don't even know German myself, Hugo understood. Whatever was inside that envelope was important. Hugo's whole body tingled as it suddenly dawned on him. Monty's father was the spy. Chapter 12. Marty's father! It seemed crazy until it made perfect sense. Everyone on the Hindenburg trusted Mr. Singer. He knew his way all around the zeppelin. He had probably been allowed to skip the inspections at the airport. And he even acted friendly with Colonel Cole. Colonel Cole. Nobody would suspect that smiling Mr. Singer was actually a courageous spy, which made him perfect for the job. But then Hugo's amazement turned to fear as voices echoed from the front of the zeppelin, and there was no mistaking the sharp, hissing voice that rose up louder than the others. It was Cole. Mr. Singer's Mr. Singer's eyes scanned all around, and then he caught sight of Hugo, and his eyes grew wide with shock. But quickly the look seemed to change. I need your help, Mr. Singer seemed to say. The sounds of footsteps and threatening voices got louder and louder. Mr. Singer tucked the envelope under his arm and rushed over to the ladder. It reached up into the gas cells, then to a walkway that led to the front of the ship. But the ladder was so tall, Mr. Singer would never make it up in time. Colonel Curl would catch him. And then what? Hugo remembered Mr. Merrick's chilling warning. That spy would be shot on the spot. A wave of fear crashed over Hugo, nearly knocking him down. He crouched lower. He felt small and helpless, the way he felt when he was sitting by Gertie's bed, watching her get burned up by those terrible fevers. He couldn't help Gertie, and there was nothing he could do to help Mr. Singer. But then Hugo's mind suddenly flashed to his friend, the one-eared baboon. Hugo remembered watching the baboon at the watering hole one day. There was a giant hippo, and it was terrorizing any animal that dared try to get close. But the baboon figured out how to distract the hippo. He threw rocks to the other side of the watering hole, where it was too muddy to drink. When the hippo got up to investigate, the baboon rushed over to slip up a big, refreshing helping of water. By the time the hippo turned around, the baboon was gone. Hugo thought for a moment, suddenly inspired. No, he couldn't stop Cole searching for the spy. But maybe Hugo could distract Cole so he wouldn't spot Mr. Singer on the ladder. But before he knew for sure that he had the courage, Hugo was on his feet. Pino wiggled out of Hugo's shirt and stood taut in his arms, ready for anything. Just then Cole appeared out of the darkness, trailed by the two Nazi officers and 4 members of the Hindenburg crew. Halt! He barked. In one hand, Cole held a bright flashlight which beamed brightly into their eyes. In the other, he held his Luger pistol, which he aimed at Hugo's heart.